Hello there guys, welcome to one of my live videos, and today I'm just be officially updating you on some more current transfer rumours and gossip. So I do believe, Harry Maguire to Manchester United, should be fully announced today. Obviously, Manchester United are set to sign Harry Maguire after breakthrough in negotiations with Leicester, and obviously it's looking very likely that Harry Maguire is going to be our third signing this summer. And obviously if we do get the deal over the line for Harry Maguire, obviously it's going to take our spending to around £148 million, because obviously we've already spent around £65 million on Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka. So potentially it's looking likely Harry Maguire is currently going to be coming in. Obviously it did get confirmed yesterday. It was actually stemming from Bleacher Report, and they said Manchester United have now agreed a deal with Leicester for Harry Maguire, and I think the fee is around £80 million. So obviously that's a world record fee for a defender. I do believe Manchester United are set to pay around £70 million up front, with around £10 million included in conditional clauses. So obviously that does rise it up to around £80 million. So looking likely now he's going to be coming to Manchester United. Obviously and it did actually suggest out that Harry Maguire's transfer from Leicester now to Manchester United is very imminent indeed. So I do believe, like I said, it should be fully announced today. But like I said, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has identified him as his number one defensive target. We do know Manchester United and Manchester City have been battling out for his services. But obviously Harry Maguire has blatantly made it clear. He's informed Brendan Rodgers. He's also informed his Leicester teammates, of course, that he does want to leave Leicester to obviously rejuvenate his career and, of course, take his footballing career to the next level. But I do believe now we are in pole position to sign him. Obviously, reflecting back, was it 2 or 3 weeks ago, it was looking like Manchester City were currently going to get a deal over the line for him. It said City were going to get him for the world record fee of £80 million, and it did say City were going to pay him around 280 grand a week. And obviously, City have been seeing him as a replacement for Vincent Kompany. And I do believe quite a few weeks back, actually Harry Maguire's first choice preference was Manchester City ahead of Manchester United and all that. But I do believe now, we have currently run the race. But like I said, we've been in talks with Leicester, for quite some time over getting a deal over the line for Harry Maguire. And I do believe for quite some time that actually Leicester City's valuation has seen to be the stumbling block of Harry Maguire, making his proposed move to Manchester United or Manchester City. Because obviously, at one point, we was not willing to pay what Leicester were demanding, because Leicester blatantly made it clear that they do want at least £80 million. Obviously, we already had a £70 million bid turned down for Harry Maguire. This got reported out from Sky Sports quite a few weeks ago. So we had a £70 million bid, currently turned down for him. But obviously, I think Harry Maguire is demanding that he wants to become captain at Manchester United. Of course, I think Manchester United could consider giving him the captaincy, because I think if he comes to Manchester United, he will be a great leader in our back line. Like I said, he'll show great leadership. Only 26 years of age, Harry Maguire, and he has still got a lot of years ahead of him. Plus he's British, and obviously so far we've signed 2 British players this summer. And obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got a lot of British players on his current agenda and all that. But Harry Maguire, I do believe, will blend in alongside Victor Lindelof in our back line fantastically well. Obviously, his stability is good. He shows that ability to power from the back. Obviously, his tenacity is good. His work ethnic's good. He's not really fast, Harry Maguire, but I don't think that's currently an issue. But yeah, we've identified him as our number one defensive type, because we need a world-class central defender, because we haven't had a world-class central defender since we had the likes of Vidic, and since we had the likes of Fernandes. We haven't really had a defence to rebuild on, since we had the likes of Gary Neville and Patrice Evra, Fernandes and Vidic and all that. They were all good back under the Alex Ferguson era. But like I said, since that point we haven't really had a defence to rebuild on. Analysing it last season, we conceded 54 goals in 30 Premier League games. So that just shows the issues, of course, we've got defensively. But it actually came out about this the other week, and this was actually stemming from Duncan Castles. I know it was a load of nonsense, but he actually said that Manchester United agreed a world record fee of £80 million with Leicester for Harry Maguire. He said unless you would pay £60 million up front, with £20 million in add-ons. And he did allegedly say the other week he was set to undergo his medical and that with Manchester United, but obviously got proven it turned out to be a load of nonsense. But Harry Maguire, like I said, is informed Brendan Rodgers. He's told his Leicester teammates, of course, that he does currently want to leave Leicester. It didn't let you say that Brendan Rodgers has actually imposed a deadline on any potential bids for Harry Maguire, and he's aware Brendan Rodgers that Manchester United and Manchester City are interested in the player. But I do believe Brendan Rodgers' overarching view is if Man United and Manchester City want to get him, they've got a heavy up with the business. But now anyway, it's looking like the Manchester United are going to get a deal over the line for him. But we do know the most expensive central defender in the world is obviously Liverpool's Virgil van Dijk. Dijk, who of course Liverpool paid £75 million for. And I think he's done really, really well at Liverpool. He's addressed their deficiencies fantastically well. You can't put Harry Maguire in nowhere near in Virgil van Dijk's calibre or level, but I still think Harry Maguire is regarded as one of the best centre halves in the Premier League. And I do believe he'll still deliver the goods at Manchester United and all that. But I think Mike Phelan has actually instructed Manchester United to currently sign Harry Maguire, because actually Mike Phelan managed Harry Maguire during his short tenure with Hull. I do believe we were also in for Harry Maguire when he was a youngster at Sheffield United, so he has been relentlessly linked with a move to Manchester United. But looking back last summer, our priority was to recommend a centre half to come in. But obviously reflecting back last summer, the board weren't back in the signings that Jose Mourinho wanted to recommend to come in. But last summer, one of the players Jose Mourinho wanted, of course, was Harry Maguire and all that. But like I said, we have got to get a world-class central defender in, and Harry Maguire is definitely the right solution for Manchester United, because like I said, he's Premier League proven. He has been at Leicester a couple of seasons. I think he's made 76 appearances in all competitions for Leicester. Obviously 69 of those appearances have come in the Premier League. Obviously he only signed a new long-term contract with Leicester last summer, so he is under contract with them till 2023. Obviously Leicester paid around £17 million for his services from Hull City back in 2017, I think it was. But yeah, I do really a little bit like him a lot. But looking at it, Leicester don't want to sell Harry Maguire, and this is the main factor reason why they've priced him out of the transfer market. This is why, of course, they are demanding an extortionate amount and all that, because obviously Leicester don't currently want to sell him. Obviously Leicester themselves obviously going to want a replacement for him now, and I do believe it said the other week that allegedly Leicester had reached an agreement with Brighton, and it said reportedly Leicester had agreed around a £45 million deal for Lewis Dunk from Brighton as their actual current replacement. But like I said, we get this deal over the line for Harry Maguire. Obviously it's going to take our spending to around £148 million. If you do want to include the add-ons and all that. But obviously, I think we're intending on, selling a central defender when Harry Maguire, does currently come in. With Victor Lindelof, there's been recent reports saying, he's actually, been linked with move to Barcelona, but I think he's dismissed speculations linking him with move to Barcelona as Victor Lindelof, because we do know how imperative Victor Lindelof is, and I do believe he's going to flourish in this Manchester United team. Lindelof was good in his second season with the club, struggled in his first season, didn't really do well in his first season, didn't really settle in, lacked consistency, but I thought Lindelof did really well in his second season, so Victor Lindelof's going to be staying at the club, and he's going to blend in alongside Harry Maguire in our backline, fantastically well. But there's quite a few, I'll say one central defender, we could offload when Harry Maguire, does come in. We could offload Alex Tuanzebe. Obviously, Alex Tuanzebe, obviously last season was Aston Villa, and I thought he did very well for Aston Villa last season. So in that aspect, he has gained a bit of experience as Alex Tuanzebe. We could offload Rojo, and I think we need to get rid of Rojo anyway. I think we also need to get rid of Darmian, because I think Darmian and Rojo have both endured difficult times at the club, and I think we can generate around 25 or £30 million for their departures. I think Bay probably will stay at the club. We could offload Smalling. We could offload Jones. So I think we are going to offload one central defender if Harry Maguire, of course, makes his move to Manchester United, like I said, which is also looking very imminent now. Like I did initially said, though, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did say he's not intending on overspending on his current transfer targets. Quite a few people said, look, we should be sensible over our recruitment this summer, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer recently spoken about our recruitment policy. But we've got to hurry up now in this transfer window, because he's only just under, I think now, 3 weeks remaining in this current transfer window, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said he's looking to sign one or two more players before this current window does currently shut. This is what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said. But we need to see vast improvements going on to this season. I do believe we will improve in the Premier League next season. We finished 6th last season. We didn't win any Super. We failed to qualify for the Champions League. But I do believe we're going to have a better season next season and all that. And I probably do believe we'll probably finish maybe in the top 4, maybe even in the top 3 next season. I don't think we'll win the league. I'm very sceptical about us currently winning the league or challenging for the league, because I think at the moment City strides ahead of us. Obviously Liverpool and that are currently strides ahead of us. And recently Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was speaking about the club's ambitions for next season. He believes we'll be aiming for further up than 4th next season and all that. And this is what what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has basically said. But he said anyway, Solskjaer, that there has been lots of speculation about players coming in, and of course players going. And he has actually spoken to the vast majority of our players this summer. But Solskjaer said he's very adamant, of course, that we don't need to sell sell many of our players. I do believe we need to sell players, to help us generate funds and, probably rebuild the squad. But we do know the likes of Paul Pogba and Romelu Lukaku have both been relentlessly, linked to a move from the football club. But I do believe, based on the extortionate amounts we've put on Paul Pogba and Lukaku, this could be a stumbling block, of both players making their proposed moves away from Manchester United and all that. But I do believe, we need to currently sell players. Since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival, obviously, we've seen 3 players depart the club. Obviously, Valencia left after he served 10 years with Manchester United. Obviously, Ander Herrera left on a free transfer, so we need a replacement for him in that midfield. And of course, Fellaini left back in the January transfer window. But we do know Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I know what squad he wants to rebuild. Obviously, he wants to bring young players in that can grow, develop and emulate and that into superstars. And obviously, I do believe, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is, actually following a policy, that proved successful and that under Alex Ferguson. But you can still see the deficiencies in the squad. With Daniel James, Dan Wan-Bissaka, look at what good signings, they've proven to be so far, because we have seen glimpses of them. They've done really, really well so far in pre-season of Daniel James and Dan Wan-Bissaka. And Daniel James is still a prospect, and I still say he needs time to develop. Van Wan-Bissaka, obviously, he's going to be our first choice right back, going on into this season. But both players have done really, really well so far in pre-season, so I am very, very impressed with them. But Harry Maguire, would just be an absolutely fantastic signing for the club, because analysing, we haven't been competitive enough in the last couple of windows, because we didn't get anyone in January. Obviously, we didn't get as number one targets last summer and all that. And obviously, we want to be back to being a competitive elite level football club. But analysing our current squad as it stands at this present time, obviously you do know it's not good enough. It's not competitive enough. And I did say, regardless of who our manager is, even if we had a manager to the highest level, they'd still currently struggle with our squad as it stands at the moment. But obviously, it's going to improve when our Harry Maguire and that comes in, and then hopefully we can get Bruno Fernandes in, and that will be if we can get them deals over the line, that will be absolutely a fantastic business for Manchester United and all that. But like I said, there's been so many central defenders on our current agenda, and I do believe, we need at least one central defender. Some people have said, we need 2 central defenders. But we definitely need someone that can go alongside Victor Lindelof in our backline. There's still some people talking about Toby Alderweireld, and we do know Toby Alderweireld, will obviously cost a lot less than Harry Maguire, so he's obviously a much cheaper solution. But Toby Alderweireld, based on his experience in the Premier League, I think it would be beneficial for Manchester United. But I have got concerns about him, because Toby Alderweireld is aging up now. How old is he? Is he 30? 31 years of age. His initial release clause is around £25 million. Is Alderweireld's, but I just don't think he's going to be coming out to Manchester United anywhere, and I don't think it's initially Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plans, to actually recommend Toby Alderweireld to come in, even though Toby Alderweireld was linked with Manchester United. Obviously, was in for him last summer, but it's looking like anyway we're going to get Harry Maguire. But like I said, with Delay, he was on our agenda for quite some time, but obviously now he's out of the equation because he's gone to Juventus. Obviously, we're in for Rafael Varane, but obviously, he's staying there with Real Madrid. Obviously, Koulibaly, and with Koulibaly, I think, like I said, the only way I think we'd get Koulibaly is if Manchester United, were willing to pay silly amounts of money for him. And obviously, Napoli are reluctant to offload him anyway, and obviously he's going to cost quite a lot. He's going to cost a lot more than Harry Maguire anyway. Is Koulibaly. So I believe the central defender that's coming to Manchester United is Harry Maguire, but I do believe it's beneficial anyway, because he's Premier League proven him and all that, and I do believe he'll succeed at Manchester United. I really, really do. So yeah, I'm really, really happy when it does fully get finalised. So we're getting him for £80 million. Obviously, we need to add reinforcements in that midfield, because obviously we've got 2 players in so far this summer. Harry Maguire is obviously going to be the 3rd signing, so now obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, want to add reinforcements in that midfield. So I do believe that will be his priorities now. I think we also need a right winner. But yeah, we'll give you the latest news about Bruno Fernandes from Sporting Lisbon. Now, potentially, I think the boss of Sporting Lisbon is actually confirmed that Bruno Fernandes' move away from Sporting Lisbon is probable, and his move to Manchester United, of course, is probable as the Bruno Fernandes, as Sporting Lisbon's boss has currently confirmed. So he's indicated out that it's very, very likely that Bruno Fernandes, will be leaving Sporting Lisbon. And we do know for the entirety of the summer that Bruno Fernandes has been linked to a move to Manchester United, and we do know, he's been linked to a move to Manchester United, and obviously we do know he's been one of our main priority targets. And I do think, regardless of what happens with Paul Pogba, it's still Ole Gunnar Solskjaer still orchestrating on, bringing a couple of new additions in that midfield. So the situation with Paul Pogba, is not having any effect on Bruno Fernandes coming to Manchester United. So Bruno Fernandes' move to Manchester United is not dependent on what happens with Paul Pogba. Obviously, Bruno Fernandes, I think, has actually told his representatives that he wants to join Manchester United. So I do believe he's turned down Tottenham. he's also turned down Liverpool. Reportedly, Sporting Lisbon do want in the excess of £70 million. So Manchester United have got to pay £70 million to get him. Reportedly, we're only willing to pay him around £50 million for his current services. So I do believe Sporting Lisbon's valuation, has seen to be the stumbling block of Bruno Fernandes, making his proposed move to Manchester United. Reportedly, if Bruno Fernandes, does get his move completed to Manchester United, reportedly, I think he's set to earn around £100,000 a week at Old Trafford. So I think we're set to pay him around, 5.5 million a year, which does equate to around £100,000 a week and all that. But looking very, very, very likely anyway that Bruno Fernandes is currently going to be leaving Sporting Lisbon. I do believe that he's a current agent. I do believe was in England. I think last week he travelled to England, to obviously discuss a potential move, to discuss a potential move to Old Trafford for Bruno Fernandes. So basically, Bruno Fernandes' agent is looking for the best possible deal for his current client. It did initially say that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was not getting back with this particular signing, because it did say the board have got concerns about, spending £70 million on a player that doesn't really know much about Champions League football, that's got little experience ever playing to the highest level. And it initially said last week that actually Ed Woodward had said no to Bruno Fernandes. It did initially say that the board felt as though he was too expensive and all that. But I do believe we can still get this deal over the line for Bruno Fernandes, because obviously Sporting Lisbon are actually looking for the replacement now for Bruno Fernandes, because I think Sporting Lisbon have come to accept the fact that Bruno Fernandes, of course, is going to be leaving. Obviously, Federico Fernandes, the Sporting Lisbon president, he confirmed the other week that there has been talks, with Bruno Fernandes regarding his future and all that. But I do believe, he's currently going to be leaving Sporting Lisbon. His initial release clause in his contract with Sporting Lisbon is £88 million. But as you all know, Manchester United are not determined to go anywhere near that figure. We're not determined to go anywhere near that £88 million figure. He's still under contract with Sporting Lisbon until 2023, because obviously, last summer he signed this 5-year deal. He's been at Sporting Lisbon a couple of seasons, but if he comes to Manchester United, rejuvenate the team, brings them goals that we need in that midfield. His tenacity is really, really good, his work ethic's good, his movements and that's really, really good. And I do believe he'll bring them goals that we do currently need from that midfield, because last season I think he scored, 31 or 32 goals in all competitions last season for Sporting Lisbon, and he has been there a couple of seasons. But I'm infuriated, that we haven't actually got the deal over the line yet, for Bruno Fernandes, and we've been negotiating a fee for quite some time. But like I said, the Sporting Lisbon's valuation has seemed to be the stumbling block of him making his proposed move to Manchester United and all that. But I do believe we can still get this deal completed for Bruno Fernandes. Obviously, he flourished when he was in Italy, did Bruno Fernandes, because he spent the majority of his career in Italy when he was younger, the likes of Sampdoria and Udinese and Novia and all that. But and Sporting Lisbon themselves have actually been playing hardball, and they haven't been quite reliable this summer, because obviously, reflected back, was it 8 or 9 weeks ago now, they assured him he was going to be going to Manchester City, but obviously he's moved to Manchester City, of course, never materialised, because Manchester City had withdrawn their interest. But I do believe Tottenham have been in negotiations with Bruno Fernandes' agent. They've held quite a few talks. Obviously, I do believe Liverpool have held talks with his current agent, but I do believe we've been considered the favourites to sign Bruno Fernandes at least for the last 3 to 4 weeks, according to the Portuguese press. And obviously, Tottenham are in search of a midfield, and Tottenham have got quite a few players on their agenda. Obviously, Tottenham obviously got Tanguy Ndombele for a club record fee. Obviously, they paid around £50 million for him. Obviously, they got Jack Clarke from Leeds. Obviously, he's going to be loaned back to Leeds for next season. But obviously, Tottenham have still currently got him. But yeah, Tottenham are obviously in there for Bruno Fernandes. Tottenham can offer him Champions League football. Obviously, Manchester United can't. Liverpool and that can offer him Champions League football. Manchester United can't. But I still believe Bruno Fernandes' first preference is actually Manchester United and all that. So he did initially say, I think it was earlier on this week that. Or was it last week? It did basically say, we are preparing to put our first formal offering for Bruno Fernandes, and it did initially say, sometime this week, we could close a deal for Bruno Fernandes. Recent reports actually indicated out now that PSG have entered the current race for him, but like I said, Sporting Lisbon, do want around £70 million. But I'm still very, very convinced that we can, currently get this deal over the line. But 24 years of age, still very, very young, still got a hell of a lot of development in him. So hopefully, we can get Bruno Fernandes after we've completed the signing of Harry Maguire and all that. Because like I said, we need some new additions in that current midfield. So that's the latest news about, Bruno Fernandes. But like I said, hopefully Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, can exceed expectation levels at Manchester United. And I think probably our expectations going into this season probably will be at least to finish in the top four. That probably will be at least that's what probably my expectation will be. But I hope Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, can get Manchester United, of course, back to glory. Get us back up there winning stuff, get us back up there competing and all that. That's also very very essential indeed. But we do know a hell of a lot of money has been invested into the football club. Over the years since Alex Ferguson retired. Obviously, we've had different managers with different philosophies. Like I said, we've been a toxic club for the last 5 or 6 years. But the main factor reason why we've been a toxic club because obviously we've been mismanaged, and obviously this is the main factor reason why we have currently been underachieving and all that. And this is the main factor reason, of course, why we have been a toxic club. And we have spent big money in recent years on players. We've got Probable for £89 million. Obviously, Lukaku and that have £75 million. I do believe we initially are moving away from the policy of signing them well-established players and all that. But like I said, we still basically need to revitalise the squad, and still lots needs to be addressed in the squad. But I do believe the club do need to sell players and all that, and that's also very very essential. As I have been updating you on a regular basis, sort of in regards to Paul Pogba and all that. Obviously, Paul Pogba's transfer saga away from Manchester United, does continue to persist. Obviously, I think, with Paul Pogba, I think now he actually, could be remain at the football club, based on, the extortionate amount, we have, currently put on Paul Pogba. Because, obviously, we are, demanding that we want at least around £150 million. Well, initially, we wanted around £150 million, even though we're very, very adamant, of course, that Paul Pogba's not for sale. But he did initially say the other week that we'd initially risen our asking price to around £180 million. So that's obviously double than what we initially paid for him from Juventus back in 2016. And I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has held talks with Paul Pogba in regards to his long-term future. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did say Manchester United can rebuild around Paul Pogba, and he also said that Paul Pogba does not need to leave to currently fulfill his ambitions. But Solskjaer has spoken to Paul Pogba regularly. He's spoken to him quite recently, quite a lot of times, as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and all that. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does know how much imperative player he is. And initially, we do know that obviously, Paul Pogba's been relentlessly linked to a move to Real Madrid. He's been linked to a move to Juventus, and for quite some time, Paul Pogba's first choice preference has been Real Madrid. His likely destination, of course, has been Real Madrid. Obviously, reports indicated out the other month saying that Paul Pogba's seeking for a new challenge. He publicly admitted that he wants to leave Manchester United for the first time, and he even did say at one point he was even willing to go on strike to force him to move away from the football club, and he was obviously orchestrating on currently putting a transfer request in. Paul Pogba obviously has got 2 years left in his contract with Manchester United with an option to extend by a further year, and he's on around £290,000 a week. I was reading a lot of reports last week, and it did say we was orchestrating opening contract negotiations with Paul Pogba, to try and get him a new contract, to try and convince him to remain at the football club. It even did say Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had revealed that he had considered Paul Pogba for the captaincy at Manchester United next season, obviously in a bid to convince him to remain at the football club. But if Harry Maguire obviously makes his move to Manchester United, I do believe he could be given the captaincy and all that. And our current captain obviously at the moment is obviously Ashley Young. It was at Valencia, but obviously he left the club, and now obviously at this present time as it stands, Ashley Young is our captain. So I think if Harry Maguire comes in, he could get given it, but if Harry Maguire doesn't get given it, it may be given it to Paul Pogba for next season and all that. But like I said, he's been relentless linked to move away from the football club as Paul Pogba. And obviously Paul Pogba's agent, Mini Raiola, he basically said a couple of weeks ago that Paul Pogba is processing leaving the club and all that. And obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has praised Paul Pogba. He said he's a fantastic player. He's got a heart of gold. So looking at it, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows how much of an imperative player he is. If we did sell Pogba and Lukaku, I think it would help us with our rebuilding process. It would help us with our transition, and I think we could generate around £200 million for their departures and all that. And I think with Paul Pogba alone, without Lukaku, I think we'd definitely generate over £100 million, and money we would generate from his departure. We'll probably get around 2 or 3 players, but I just think what we're demanding, that seems to be the stumbling block of Paul Pogba making his proposed move away from Manchester United. But Paul Pogba's agent, Mini Raiola, has been in the process of finding Paul Pogba a new club, at least for the last 2 to 3 months now. Obviously, Juventus obviously stepped their interest up in the last 3 weeks, at least now. They've held negotiation with Paul Pogba's agent, Mini Raiola. Obviously, Juventus probably more than likely would have to offload a couple of their essential players anywhere to fund the move for Paul Pogba, because I don't think they'd be able to afford Paul Pogba outright, because obviously Juventus have just got De Ligt on the board. Recently, they got Adrian Rabiot, Aaron Ramsey, they got Ronaldo last summer, so I don't think, Juventus would be able to afford him outright. And he did have 4 good years in Turin. Hasn't really replicated this form since he did make the return to Manchester United, but I would still say in this market, this day and age, and that I'd still say he's within the region of 150 or 160 million pounds. And Paul Pogba's still young, he's 26 years of age. He has still currently got him a lot of years ahead of him and all that. And where we have seen glimpses of his best form. We have seen glimpses of Paul Pogba, so far in pre-season, because he's had a great start out 2 pre-seasons, Paul Pogba, and I still believe he's the long-term solution for Manchester United. But we mainly saw the best of Paul Pogba, when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager in his first 3 months at Manchester United. That's when we mainly saw the best of Paul Pogba and all that, because he was in scintillating form, he was scoring goals, he was providing them and all that. But like I did currently say, Paul Pogba now, could well remain at their football club. But he has been subject to a lot of transfer speculation, and Paul Pogba's stats were very impressive last season. He scored, 16 goals and 11 assists in 47 games in all competitions last season. And since he rejoined the club in 2016, obviously, he scored 31 goals in 135 games for Manchester United. Obviously, he's won the Europa League with us and the League Cup. Obviously, that came his second season with Manchester United and all that. But yeah, I could actually now stay at the football club. But either way, we're still looking and strengthening our current midfielder up, because obviously, we need a replacement for Ander Herrera. Obviously, Real Madrid are not keen on a straight cash payment anywhere for Paul Pogba. They won't pay £150 million. Real Madrid themselves have, spent £300 million this summer on 5 players. Obviously, Real Madrid, I think, are looking to offload a couple of their players, to help them generate funds, to meet our current valuation for Paul Pogba and all that. But yeah, his first choice preference obviously being Real Madrid. But yeah, that's obviously the latest news about Paul Pogba. We'd obviously do know Real Madrid desperate to include Gareth Bale in their bid to sign Paul Pogba. But talking about Gareth Bale, as I did update you on yesterday, obviously it did come out of the media saying that Zinedine Zidane had confirmed that Gareth Bale is very close to leaving Real Madrid. Obviously Gareth Bale's agent is very adamant that his current client has got no intentions of course of leaving Real Madrid, and I do believe Gareth Bale, to be fair, has got no intentions of leaving Real Madrid. He seems happier with Real Madrid, but obviously Zinedine Zidane has confirmed he's very close to leaving. Obviously this got confirmed at the end of last season, when basically Zinedine Zidane came out and he basically said that Gareth Bale has no future at Real Madrid, and Zinedine Zidane said he no longer fits in his plans and that with Real Madrid. I do believe he also missed Real Madrid's pre-season game against Bayern Munich, was it? I think Real Madrid did lose by 3 goals to 1. I don't think currently Gareth Bale currently played in that. So obviously he's surplus to requirements at Real Madrid. But we do know obviously Gareth Bale has been relentlessly linked to a move to Manchester United since 2012 or is it 2013? And of course the rumours have continued to persist since then. So possibly if Paul Pogba does go to Real Madrid, possibly Bale could be a part of the deal. But I just don't think Manchester United are interested of course in Gareth Bale. But there's been talks about him coming back to the Premier League. So there's been talks about him coming to Manchester United for a number of years. There's also been talks about him making him a return back to Tottenham. But yeah, if you'd asked me a couple of years ago, I probably would have took Gareth Bale at Manchester United and all that if you'd have asked me a couple of years ago. But now I've got strong concerns about him. He's aging up. He's just recently turned 30 years of age as Gareth Bale. Plus he's injury prone. But despite the fact that he's injury prone, his goal scoring, pedigree is still his goal scoring pedigree is still quite good. He's scored 102 goals in 231 games for Real Madrid, and I think he's provided around 65 assists. And he has been at Real Madrid 6 years, but I do believe he's been at Real Madrid. I do believe he's been consistent for Real Madrid in the last couple of seasons. He has still got 3 years left on his contract with Real Madrid as Gareth Bale. But, discarding Bale has been part of any swap deal or, discard, loaning Bale out. Obviously it's going to be hard for Bale, to get offloaded permanently because, reflecting on his substantial wages. And I do believe Real Madrid do want to get rid of him permanently, but Real Madrid are going to find it very difficult, like I said, because of his current substantial wages. And obviously Real Madrid anywhere are going to find it very difficult to recoup the initial 85 million that they did pay for him from Tottenham, back in 2013 and all that. But I just don't want, Gareth Bale at Manchester United like I do, keep currently saying to you, because obviously he's injury prone and all. And maybe if he did come back to the Premier League, maybe he would exceed expectation levels, maybe he would, succeed Gareth Bale, because obviously he had 6 good years with Tottenham, when he was younger. And he's obviously done well he's done well with Real Madrid. I think he's had 4 good years with Real Madrid, but I think his last couple of seasons, I do believe, that Gareth Bale, of course, has been very inconsistent. But he's 30 years of age, and obviously now he's aging up and all that. And obviously, Bale can play on the left. Obviously, Bale and that can play on the right. But Bale and that can play on the right, and obviously Manchester United are in search for a winger, but I just think there's better solutions out there than Gareth Bale. So, like I said, Real Madrid want to include Bale in part of their pursuit of Paul Pogba. And as I did give you the news yesterday, in regards to Nicolas Pepe, and like I said, there has been quite a few winners on our agenda, because I do believe Manchester United needs to get a right winning, because we need someone that can link up with the likes of Martial, Rashford, and Mason Greenwood, and there has been quite a few winners on our agenda. On that left hand side, we are okay, because obviously we've got Daniel James in there, and Daniel James obviously primarily plays off the left. Obviously I know we played him on the right. I think against him Lano, I started him on the right, but he's supposed to be more effective on that left hand side. Is Daniel James. So on the left we're okay, but I think we need to adjust that right hand side, because obviously we've got the right back in now for Wan-Bissaka, but we definitely need a current right winner. So a lot of talk's been going on quite recently anyway about Nicolas Pepe, reportedly saying that Manchester United are progressing in discussions with Lille over the transfer of Nicolas Pepe. He says reportedly we are preparing to put around a £70 million bid in for him. Obviously I think this is what initially Lille value Nicolas Pepe at, so I do believe they want around £70 million. Again, Duncan Castles has actually come out with this story. He actually was right. I think he actually said he was writing in the Sunday Times, and he indicated out this last weekend. Well, the weekend's actually just gone. He indicated out that Manchester United have moved ahead of Liverpool and Arsenal in the race, to currently assign Nicolas Pepe. But Duncan Castle isn't always reliable, as it got proven, with Harry Maguire, the other week and all that. But the story's actually stemming from Duncan Castle, saying that Manchester United now are the favourites to currently assign Nicolas Pepe. Obviously, I do believe that Liverpool have been linked to him for months. Obviously, Liverpool have made initial contact with his representatives. Obviously, Liverpool have not yet made any formal bid for Nicolas Pepe. But I do believe Nicolas Pepe's first choice preference is Liverpool. To be quite honest with you, I do believe Arsenal have been linked to him since January. But I don't think Arsenal will quickly get the player, because obviously Arsenal. But I don't think they'll be able to afford £70 million, because obviously Arsenal have got a tight budget. They've only got around 40 or £45 million to currently spend this summer of Arsenal, so probably they'll need to offload a couple of their players to help them generate funds and of course rebuild their squad. But I do believe Arsenal have been in for Nicolas Pepe since January. It also says that Everton have expressed their interest, but I doubt he'll want to go to Everton, because like I said, Everton can't offer Nicolas Pepe any European football. But like did say, he's going to cost them in the excess around £70 million, and I would be excited about the prospect of linking Nicolas Pepe up with the likes of Martial, Rashford, and Mason Greenwood, because I do believe Nicolas Pepe would blend in our attacking line fantastically well. And looking at it, he's the obvious candidate for the right win for Manchester United, because obviously he is primarily a winner. Obviously he's only 24 years of age, so far has spent the entirety of his career in France. He's had 2 good seasons with Lille, and he was the revelation for Lille last season. He scored 22 goals and provided 11 assists. I think he's been at Lille a couple of seasons. I think in all competitions he scored 37 goals in 79 appearances. So this, Nicolas Pepe can score goals. He can provide assists. He can create chances. He's very, very good. I think he's good on and off the ball. So I think he's the type of player that Manchester United do need. He's Nicolas Pepe. He's still got 3 years left on his contract with Lille. But I think this got confirmed. Was it a couple of months ago now that the Lille bloody chairman obviously came out, and he basically said that it's looking like that Nicolas Pepe is going to be leaving Lille this summer. But it still remains uncertain why he will be applying his trade next season and all that. But a lot of teams have been in there for him. I think come out the other week saying that Inter Milan were in for him, PSG are in for him. Obviously Bayern Munich of course were in for him at one point, because they're looking for a replacement for obviously Ribery and Arjen Robben. But if Nicolas Pepe comes to the Premier League, he will definitely succeed. He'll exceed expectation levels, and I do believe definitely it will be the next step in Nicolas Pepe's. It will be the next step in his career. I should currently presume. But if he was to, I think if he went to Liverpool, Nicolas Pepe, I think he'd fit anybody's team. I think he'd look a good player in anybody's team. But I think if he went to Liverpool, he'd definitely fit their system, because Nicolas Pepe would blend in very, very well alongside the likes of Mane and Mohamed Salah and all that. But Nicolas Pepe, I love him at Manchester United. And you could just imagine how much he would improve us, because he'd been at them goals that we need. He'd create chances and all that. And but we have, looking at our attacking line now, we have got pace up there, because you've got the likes of Daniel James that's got electrifying pace. You've got Rashford that's got good pace. You've got Martial that's got good pace. You've got Mason Greenwood and that now that's going to be assured more first team football going on into this season, because obviously he's going to get promoted into the first team. Is Mason Greenwood, as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has currently confirmed. But I still believe Manchester United definitely need a right winner. Obviously, Jadon Sancho was on our agenda for quite some time. As you all know, Jadon Sancho was currently on our agenda. Obviously, I think the main factor reason why we did obviously miss out on him this summer, because obviously we're not in Champions League football for next season and all that. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer identified Jadon Sancho as his number one target, back in the January transfer window and all that. Obviously, he was initially valued at around £100 million, but Manchester United were willing to pay up to £100 million for Jadon Sancho. But I think maybe in January, maybe next year, next summer, we could reignite our interest in Jadon Sancho. And Jadon Sancho is only 19 years of age, and he's obviously still a prospect. And I think if Jadon Sancho did make the return to the Premier League, I think it would help him with his developing process. I think it would create him a better platform for him. I think Jadon Sancho is primarily a winner, but he can also play centric in Jadon Sancho, and still I think he's got a contract with Borussia Dortmund there until 2022. Obviously, has been at Borussia Dortmund a couple of years and all that. Obviously, he's obviously had experience of playing in Manchester anyway, because obviously he's a former Manchester City player, but based on limited appearances and all that, never got guaranteed to get into the first team. This is the main factor reason, of course, why I left Manchester City. But I think we could probably reignite our interest in Jadon Sancho maybe in January or maybe next summer and all that. But like I said, there's been quite a few winners on our current agenda. But there's still areas in that squad where we do need to address. So get Harry Maguire in, that's our central defensive area, addressed. Then we've got to get a midfielder in, and I'm very, very hopeful as well that Manchester United, of course, can currently get a right winner in. So like I said, still lots need to be currently addressed in the squad. Obviously, as I've been updating you regularly, in regards to Milinkovic-Savic from Lazio, obviously, there's been a lot of talks about him, currently going on. Obviously, it reported out, there's been coming out in the last couple of weeks, saying that Manchester United have been in for him. This was actually, coming out from Sky in Italy, they basically said that Manchester United actually, submitted around the £72 million bid for Milinkovic-Savic. Obviously, this is too insufficient for Lazio, because I do believe Lazio wants somewhere in the region of around £90 million for Milinkovic-Savic. They want around £90 million, so obviously he's going to cost us a substantial amount. Maybe Milinkovic-Savic to Manchester United, of course, is dependent on what happens with Paul Pogba and all that. So maybe he's moved to Manchester United. He's dependent on what happens with Paul Pogba. Milinkovic-Savic is 24 years of age. Obviously, he's Serbian. I think he's primarily central midfielder, so mainly box to box. I think Manchester United have been relentlessly linked with him, because obviously, he was in for Milinkovic-Savic last summer, but Lazio wanted around £108 million last summer. And obviously, to be fair to Lazio, they have lowered their initial asking price and all that. Like I said, he's only 24 years of age. I do believe he can create chances and he can score goals and all that. And he has proven himself in the majority of his 4 years there with Lazio that he can score goals and all that. And his work ethic, and that's really, really good. And his tenacity is good. But I think he's been inconsistent in the last 5 or 6 months for Lazio. He signed a new deal with Lazio last October, so he's under contract with Lazio till 2023. Obviously, I think for Lazio, his stats, I think he scored about around 31 goals in 138 games for Lazio. I think quite a few other teams, of course, have been there for Milinkovic-Savic. But yeah, reportedly, we've identified him as a possible replacement for Paul Pogba. So there's still talks about, Milinkovic-Savic going on. So we offered £72 million, but obviously, Lazio want around £90 million. Whether we're willing to pay £90 million for him or not, I do not know. Obviously, there's been a lot of other midfielders, there's Sean Longstaff from Newcastle. I do believe now, I don't think he'll be coming to Manchester United, because I just don't think, Manchester United would be willing to pay up to £50 million for his services. Newcastle obviously, have indicated out that Sean Longstaff, of course, is not for sale, as they have currently confirmed, because obviously Newcastle probably know how much of an imperative player he is. Obviously, Manchester United held high-level talks with Newcastle the other week, as it did get confirmed from Sky Sports, but obviously, Newcastle have reluctant to offload him. Manchester United have not yet anywhere made an official bid for him, but Newcastle have confirmed, they want to earn around £50 million for Sean Longstaff. So I'm probably very sceptical now about him, coming out to Manchester United, because we only initially value him from between £18-20 million. So Newcastle are basically, demanding £40 million. They're demanding over double. They're demanding over double than what they're demanding. over double than what we currently initially value the current player at. But yeah, so I don't think he's going to be coming to Manchester United. But like I did say, we've had a really good start to pre-season. 3 wins out of 3. 7 goals scored. No goals conceded. Obviously, Tottenham are coming up this Thursday in Shanghai, in China, and all that. So hopefully we can make it 4 wins out of 4 in pre-season. But I think we've done. I think the majority of the players have done really well in pre-season so far. I think definitely the young players have stepped up. I think Greenwood's done well. He scored 2 goals in his last 2 games, and he was very impressive for the reserves last season. I think he scored 30 goals in 29 appearances, was it? Obviously, I think Chong's done really well. I think Jimmy Garner did well against Perth Glory. McTominay's done well. McTominay's still inexperienced at the moment, but with pre-season, all that, he's going to get more experience and he's going to get more chances going on into this season. I think Pereira has done quite well. So I think the number of the young players have done well. I thought Tuanzebe looks good alongside Lindelof against Inter Milan. Tuanzebe did quite well. Obviously, Victor Lindelof, obviously, he came off injured against Inter Milan, so hopefully, his current injury is not too severe, because we do know how imperative Victor Lindelof is. But yeah, the majority of the young players have done well. Saka and Daniel James have been fantastic so far in pre-season. Rashford has been fantastic. Martial's been good. As I said, Paul Pogba, and that's been good. So I think the young players and the majority of the squad alone, the majority of the squad, have done really well. I've been very unimpressed, with Matic. I think he's done really poor so far in pre-season, and he totally slows that midfield down. Does the man Matic. To be quite honest with you. And I thought in the game against Inter Milan in the second half, when Matic came off, our midfield, of course, looked more balanced, because I think it looked a bit imbalanced when Matic, of course, was currently playing. And you do know anyway, I've got strong concerns about Matic. You've got the likes of Fred. I thought Fred did well when he came on against Inter Milan. Obviously, that was his first appearance on tour. So yeah, we have started pre-season, fantastically well. But like I did say, we have with David De Gea, of course. Obviously, he made his first appearance on tour against Inter Milan. And obviously, David De Gea is now, I think, going to be signing a new contract with Manchester United, which is very good. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer initially confirmed this prior to the Leeds game. He said he was close to signing a new contract, and it's up to David De Gea and when the club, decide, when to currently announce his contract. But I do believe David De Gea has agreed a 6-year contract with around £117 million over that 6-year period. Obviously, it's going to make him the highest paid goalkeeper in world football. I think he's set to earn around £375,000 a week. So obviously, David De Gea is going to get a huge pay rise, because obviously, his current deal is only on around £200,000 a week, so he's going to get around £175,000 pay rise. Is De Gea, so very good news. That he's going to be signing a new contract. And like I said, we've been in negotiations trying to get David De Gea a new contract at least for the last 18 or 19 months. That's over a year and a half. We've been trying to get him a new contract, because obviously for a long time, the club were not willing to meet his £350,000 a week wage demands and all that. Allegedly, we had around £300,000 a week for him on the table at the turn of the year, but obviously, this is too insufficient and that for David De Gea. But like I said, it confirmed a couple of weeks ago that there was breakthrough in negotiations, between, George Mendes, who's David De Gea's agent in the club. He said there had been breakthrough in negotiations and all that. But like I said, David De Gea's been here 8 years. He's been a good servant to the club. He's made over 300 appearances for the club in all competitions. Obviously, he's won the club's player of the year 4 times out of the last 6 or 7 years. Reflecting on his impressive performances. He was poor last season. I think he's only had 1 bad season out of 8 seasons. David De Gea that he's been in. So I think he's had 7 good seasons. He's had 1 poor season, and he was making costly mistakes towards the back end of last season. But I do believe that was mainly to do with the contractual situation. But yeah, very happy about David De Gea signing this new contract. So he's going to probably take him under contract till 2025 and all that. So he's going to take him probably to the age of 34, 35 years of age. This new contract, I do believe he's 28 or 29 at the moment. He's David De Gea, so he has still got a lot of years ahead of him. But he's had a great career at Manchester United so far. He's been here since the Alex Ferguson era. We do know, obviously, at one point it was looking like he was going to be leaving. Obviously, he was linked to a move to PSG. Obviously, he was linked to a move to Real Madrid. Well, he was linked to a move to Real Madrid for a number of years. Real Madrid were on the brink of getting him back in 2015, but due to a fax machine, of course, the deal that never materialised. And yeah, and I think he was also, well, I think also, Juventus and that I were in for him, but very, very good now is that David De Gea is going to be staying. Obviously, it got confirmed the other week that, Rashford has signed a new long-term contract, and obviously, he's set to earn around 300 grand a week. Well, I think initially he's set to earn 200 grand a week, should I say, but obviously with the bonuses included, it rises up to around 300 grand a week. Matt signed a new contract about 2 or 3 weeks ago now, was it? Pereira likes to Zebe signed new deals the other week. Obviously, Martial signed a 5-year deal back in January. McTominay signed a new long-term contract last season. Smalling Jones signed a new long-term contract last season, which I think was bad business for Manchester United. Young signed a new 1-year extension. So at one point, was letting far too many players' contracts run down, which we was. But I think we have now, obviously, resolved that problem out. But like I said with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, hopefully he can get Manchester United back to glory. If we get Harry Maguire in, we get Bruno Fernandes in, that's good business for Manchester United there, like I currently said. But I do believe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is following, Alex Ferguson's philosophy and all that. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer believes Alex Ferguson, transformed him, of course, into a winner. But like I said, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has proven himself as a manager. He has got a bit of experience as a manager, not really to the highest level. Don't forget, he proved himself when he was interim manager in his first 3 months with Manchester United. He won a couple of Norwegian titles there with Molde and all that. Did Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and yeah, and he was a really, really good player for Manchester United for 11 years under Alex Ferguson. So, yeah, so got a lot of faith in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So the main part of this video was to give you the news about Harry Maguire and give you the latest news about Bruno Fernandes. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do consider subscribe, as always, and take care, God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.